The waters are rising, not in some far-off tale, but right now, in your own news feed. And the oldest story ever told about a flood hides something most people never notice. The ship at its center wasn't built by luck. It was built by math, but to understand how, we need to go back, way back, to a word most people skip right over. In the old Hebrew text, there are two ways to say flood. One is common. It shows up when rivers break their banks, when rain washes out a field. Just water doing what water does. The other word appears only in one place, only in the story of Noah. It shows up a handful of times across 4 chapters, and then it vanishes from the language. Never used again for any other flood, ever. That word signals something that isn't weather. It's a verdict, a reset, written into the bones of the world. You're standing on dry land. The sky looks wrong. Not dark the way storms are dark. It's a color you've never seen. The air is still but heavy. Around you, people laugh, trade, argue, eat. They don't look up. You do, and some deep part of you knows what's coming. This is where Noah enters the story. And here's where most people get him wrong. We think of a kind old man with a white beard and a cartoon boat full of giraffes. But the text calls him something sharp. Blameless. Not perfect. Not holy. Blameless. It's a legal term. The kind you'd use in a trial. He stood in a world gone wrong, and the record cleared him. So he gets a task. Build a vessel. The dimensions are right there in the text, given in cubits. Convert them, and you get a hull roughly 450 feet long, with width and height scaled to match. Now, here's the part that makes engineers stop chewing their pencils. That ratio, length to width, is 6:1. Modern ship design calls the sweet spot for hull steadiness somewhere between 5:1 and 7:1. Noah's Ark sits dead center. Not too slim to hold weight, not too wide to ride swells. A shape that balances cargo, waves, and wind in a way we didn't fully grasp until the last few hundred years. But wait, couldn't that just be luck? A nice round number that happened to land on good math? Maybe. Except the boats built in that same era didn't follow the same logic. River barges were long and flat. Open sea craft were rounder, shorter. Nothing in the region matched that ratio. It stands alone in the old texts, like someone knew something the neighbors didn't. Still, a good hull means nothing if the timeline doesn't hold. And this is where the story gets strangely precise. 40 days of rain. That number echoes all through the text. 40 days in the desert. 40 years in the wild. It's a number that means testing, refining, burning away what doesn't belong. Then the waters rise for months. Mountains vanish. The whole known world goes quiet. And the total span, from the first drop to the moment dry ground returns, stretches just over a year. The story marks time in 7-day beats. Noah waits, then opens a window, sends out a raven, waits again, sends a dove. The dove comes back with nothing. Another wait. The dove returns with a fresh olive leaf. One more. The dove doesn't come back at all. Each cycle tightens the suspense. Each one brings the world a little closer to dry land. You're inside that vessel now. The air is thick. The wood groans with each swell. You can't see the sky. You can't see the water. You only hear it, pressing against every plank, every seam. The animals are still oddly calm, as if they understand something you don't. Time has lost its shape. Days blur. You measure your life in the sound of rain stopping. Now about those animals. The common image is chaos. Lions next to lambs. Elephants crushing the lower deck. A floating circus. But the layout tells a different story. The inside of that hull held a huge amount of space. Give each pair a reasonable pen, and there's room for thousands upon thousands of pairs. Even counting all known land animals with backbones, there's room. Not cramped room, working room. Grid-based, stacked, planned. Clean animals, the ones marked for offering, came aboard in larger groups. Everything else in pairs. This wasn't random. It was triage, a living seed bank. The Ark wasn't a zoo. It was a vault. But here's where we need to hold the story up to the light and check for cracks. Some scholars say none of this was ever meant to be taken as a building plan. They point out that cubits varied from place to place. A royal cubit in Egypt was longer than a common cubit in Canaan. Change the cubit, and the ship changes shape. The ratio could shift. Still seaworthy, yes, but no longer the exact sweet spot. And the species count relies on modern grouping. The ancient mind likely meant something different by our every living thing. Perhaps only the animals known in that region. Perhaps only the ones that mattered for herding, hunting, and offering. This doesn't break the story. It just shows that the truth might be layered. Some parts hum with real craft. Others bend toward symbol. And the line between the two isn't always clean. What does seem clear is that Noah's flood didn't come from nowhere. Long before the Hebrew text was written down, other cultures were telling their own version. In the river plains of what we now call Iraq, a Sumerian scribe pressed a reed into wet clay thousands of years ago. He wrote about a king warned by a god, a boat, a flood sent to wipe the earth. That king's name was Ziusudra. The story is broken, fragments missing, but the bones are the same. Later, the Akkadians told it again. This time the hero was called Atrahasis. The gods were tired of human noise. They sent plague, famine. Nothing worked. So they sent water. Atrahasis built a vessel, loaded it with life, survived. Then came the most famous echo. Gilgamesh, the great king, searching for the secret of eternal life, finds an old man on the far side of the world. That old man tells him about a flood, a ship sealed with pitch, animals brought aboard, waters that swallowed everything. When the waters fell, the old man sent out birds, a dove, a swallow, a raven. The raven didn't come back. Sound familiar? These stories don't prove that Noah's flood happened exactly as written, but they prove something else. Across languages, across centuries, across rival empires, something about a great flood stuck in human memory like a splinter that wouldn't come out. Was it one real event, told and retold until every culture claimed it? Was it many local floods, each one so crushing that the survivors believed the whole world had drowned? We don't know for certain. Two researchers mapped the floor of the Black Sea and found drowned coastlines stretching across a vast area. They proposed a rapid breach thousands of years ago, salt water flooding in, swallowing villages, pushing people outward in every direction, carrying their story with them. Later studies pushed back. The rise may have been slow, spread over centuries. The debate isn't settled. It may never be. But the story doesn't end with the water going down. It ends with light. The rain stops, the clouds thin, and across the wet sky, a bow of color burns into view. The Hebrew word for it is the same word used for a weapon, a war bow, hung in the sky, aimed at nothing. The image is startling when you see it for what it is. The weapon of judgment, put away, turned into a sign that the judge will not strike again. Not like this. The physics behind it are just as precise as the Ark's hull. Sunlight enters a raindrop. It slows down, bends, bounces off the back wall of the drop, and exits at a fixed angle. Always the same angle. Every rainbow you've ever seen formed at that exact tilt. It's not random beauty. It's locked shape. And yet it's rare. Most cloudy days produce no rainbow at all. You need the sun behind you, rain in front of you, and the angle just right. When it appears, it feels chosen, like the sky is making a point. Ancient seal carvings from what is now Turkey show a divine bow held in the hands of storm gods. The weapon that destroys is the same shape as the ark that promises peace. The people who carved those seals lived centuries before the Hebrew text was written. The image was already old when Noah's story took its final form. Here is what sits at the center of all this. A story about judgment that's really about care. About a world washed clean that's really about what was saved. About a man who built a ship not because he understood the math, but because he trusted the voice that gave him the numbers. Every story you hear has a next chapter. If this one stayed with you, if it shifted something, even slightly, then the next story we tell will go deeper. Stay close. There's more to uncover. And somewhere, right now, Rain is falling on open water, and the light is bending, and the bow is still hanging in the sky, aimed at nothing, promising everything.